Welcome to Bang On. Today, let's discuss about LGBTQ and homosexuality case in Supreme Court and in various religions. Christianity is a diverse religion with a variety of interpretations and beliefs about LGBTQ individuals and same-sex marriage. Some Christian denominations and individuals believe that homosexuality is a sin and that same-sex relationships are morally wrong. They may cite biblical passages such as Leviticus 18:22 or Romans 1:26-27 to support this belief. Romans 1:26-27. These verses are from the book of Romans in the Bible and describe homosexuality as a sinful behavior. It states that women and men have forsaken their natural use and engaged in sexual acts that are considered against nature. There are several stories in Hindu mythology and literature that feature gender non-conforming or same-sex relationships. Here are a few examples. The story of Arjuna and Shikhandi. In the epic Mahabharata, Arjuna, one of the Pandav brothers, is unable to defeat the warrior Bhishma because of a vow he had taken to never harm a woman. Shikhandi, who was born a woman but later became a man through a boon from a god, fights alongside Arjuna and helps him defeat Bhishma. The story of Mohini and Shiva. According to Hindu mythology, the god Vishnu once took on the form of a beautiful woman named Mohini. When the god Shiva saw her, he fell in love with her, and they had a child together. These stories are often interpreted in different ways, but they can be seen as examples of gender fluidity or same-sex attraction in Hindu mythology. Hinduism is a diverse religion, and its views on LGBTQ issues, same-sex marriage, and homosexuality are not uniform across all its various traditions and schools of thought. Some Hindu texts, such as the Kama Sutra, acknowledge the existence of LGBTQ individuals and their desires. The Ardhanarishwara, a composite form of the god Shiva and his consort Parvati, is also considered a symbol of gender fluidity and androgyny. However, there are also traditional Hindu beliefs that view homosexuality as sinful and against the natural order. These beliefs are often based on the idea that procreation is an essential part of the human experience and that same-sex relationships do not lead to procreation. In Islam, there are varying interpretations and beliefs about LGBTQ individuals, same-sex marriage, and homosexuality. However, the majority of Islamic scholars consider homosexuality to be sinful, and same-sex relationships and marriages are not recognized in many Islamic countries. Islamic jurisprudence considers homosexual acts as a sin and a violation of Islamic law. In some Islamic countries, homosexuality is punishable by imprisonment, flogging, or even death. The Bar Council of India on Sunday expressed its concern on pleas seeking legal recognition to same-sex marriages, saying that the legislature was best suited to take any decision on the matter as it is truly reflective of the will of the people. The Bar Council of India, ever since the inception of human civilization and culture, marriage has been typically accepted and categorized as a union of biological man and woman for the twin purpose of procreation and recreation. In such background, it would be catastrophic to overhaul something as fundamental as the conception of marriage by any law court, howsoever well-intentioned it may be. Issues pertaining to social and religious connotations should typically be dealt with by courts through the doctrine of deference, the Bar Council said. The legal body claimed that more than 99.9% of people of the country are opposed to the idea of recognizing the marriage. The petitioners have challenged the constitutionality of laws that only recognize marriages between a man and a woman. They have argued that these provisions are discriminatory against the LGBTQ+ community and infringe on their fundamental right to dignity and privacy. At the outset, it may be prudent to state that any form of sexual activity between consenting adults, performed in privacy, is a matter of personal preference. It is their prerogative to understand and withstand any social or other repercussions arising out of such acts. In a diverse and large society like India, it may not always be possible for all to accept such unions. Ideally, the state or law should not come in between or interfere in such personal matters of its citizens. Treating sexual relations between consenting adults of same gender as a criminal act is wrong in principle. However, if such an act is forced upon an adult or involves children, then it must be viewed as a criminal offense. Therefore, Article 377 needs to be suitably modified to allow freedom of choice in matters of sex to all adults in the society. It is also equally important to establish that homosexuality or lesbianism cannot be deemed to be the natural forms of sex. The natural act of sex calls for a male and female partnership, and that is an axiomatic truth. Gay sex for sexual gratification must be viewed as an exception to this law of nature. It may be argued that same-gender sex may come naturally to some. While this may be true, the fact remains that such sexual preference, of a few, would still be an exception to the normal law of nature as applicable to humanity across the universe. There is no doubt that with changing times, some aspects of life too need to be viewed in a different manner. Attitudes and perceptions must keep up with time to remain meaningful and to maintain harmony in the society. However, it must be remembered that societies do not function only on man-made laws. Their core strengths come from the laws of nature that have helped them to evolve and survive. Any efforts to appease a few by overturning such laws of nature, which form the bedrock of any society, can only be counterproductive and will undermine societal values. Subscribe to Bang On channel.